After 5 months of no updates, 5 months since the release of Gogeta Super Saiyan 4, Dragon Ball FighterZ is releasing its first patch. Fans have been waiting for a long time for what's coming, and the game's producer Hiroki Tomoko announced one of the new features that will be coming.
今回のアップデートの中身なんですけれども、キャラクターのバランス調整だけではなく、よりダイナミックなバトルが攻防ができるような形で空中でのガードキャンセルチェンジですとか、その他バトル全体に関わるような調整っていうのも入れていく予定ですので、今しばらくお待ちいただいて楽しみにお待ちいただければと思っております。
Last time I made a wish list for a Dragon Ball FighterZ patch, I asked for selectable assists, and you know what we got? We got selectable assists, and the game was so much better for it. You're welcome. Now, obviously that wasn't me, but I was happy to see that my mind was in the same space as the development team, so today we're gonna see if I still got it. We're gonna talk about the aerial guard cancels as well as my list of features that I'd like to see coming to Dragon Ball FighterZ with this new patch. Which, by the way, as soon as it hits, I'm gonna be streaming it on twitch.tv/Globku. I still see a lot of you guys in my chat saying, wow, I didn't know you had a Twitch. Well, I do, and I stream from Monday through Friday. Every single weekday playing a ton of anime games, usually. Let's get into it. Guard canceling. For 1 bar of meter while in block stun, you can freeze time for a little bit as you bring in another character or vanish if you only have 1 character remaining. This is one of the many defensive abilities that Dragon Ball FighterZ has, and now it will be possible to do it in the air. I'm not sure how good this will be, but it definitely doesn't sound very powerful. First of all, this is a game where you're mostly blocking while on the ground. Usually, blocking in the air means you lost an air-to-air battle and the opponent is bringing you back down to the ground with a staircase. Now, upon landing on the ground, you're immediately getting mixed up, so maybe choosing to guard cancel before you land can avoid that mix-up situation. That said, while guard cancels freeze time for a little bit, time doesn't stay frozen while your character is flying in. So it's very possible that even if your opponent is hitting a button in the air, he might whiff that button and land on the ground where he can just block your guard cancel. So overall, it doesn't sound like a super useful mechanic, but we'll have to wait and see how it works. Maybe it has different properties. Or maybe they're changing guard cancels altogether. Again, who knows? Game balance. For the most part, I really like how balanced most of this roster is. There are a couple of characters that could use some adjustments, like Gogeta's hitboxes are a bit ridiculous, and that super should cost 5 bars at least. Z Broly could maybe use some toning down as well, but for the most part, I like the roster just as it is. Some characters are in a serious need of buffs though. Give Videla Reflect and she's a top character, done, easy fix. And then Goku Black and Zamasu are really the 2 characters that really need a hand. Balance-wise, I wouldn't mind seeing these 2 receive larger adjustments, but for the rest of the cast, I would actually like them to leave it alone. Because one of 2 things might happen. One, they nerf some characters or buff others, and it's very easy for them to be overpowered or underpowered when your roster is as balanced as it is right now. Or they can completely rework every character and just change the meta completely, which is a fun thing to do, but at this point, I would rather they spend their time doing some other things. So even though you may want your main to do something new, I would actually rather they spend their time adding some other features that to me are a priority. Netcode wise, we all want rollback, especially after seeing that Arc System Works was able to pull it off with Guilty Gear Strive. However, I don't think it's coming this patch.
またですね、以前、メッセージビデオでもお伝えさせていただきました通り、ネットコードの改善っていうのは難しいんですけれども、少しでも皆様が楽しんで戦えるような場所の提供をしていきたいと思っておりますので、ぜひ皆様ご参加いただければと思っております。
I think it's really awesome that they acknowledged it, that they talked about it. They could easily just ignore the subject and focus on the changes that are actually happening. But Hiroki went out of her way to say that they're still looking into rollback, but she also doesn't seem super optimistic. At this stage of the game, I'd be surprised if Dragon Ball FighterZ ever gets rollback. It definitely feels like something that's due for a sequel, but not something that will happen in FighterZ at any point, much less in this August patch. Since rollback won't be happening, there are a few changes that I'd like to see, and some of them might be unnecessary if there was a better netcode. But even if there was a better netcode, these changes wouldn't negatively impact offline play. And I think that's very important. There are changes that you can make because your netcode is shitty to just accommodate for better online play, but a lot of them would ruin offline play, and you always have to keep that in mind. These changes, however, are good for both. The first one is auto combos on whiff. I've said it a million times. One of the most annoying things is playing a laggy match and getting caught by someone mashing the square button. I love auto combos. They're one of the reasons why this game is so popular and so many people are able to just pick it up and play. But these should not be coming out on whiff, and I actually think you're doing more harm than good by allowing players to do it. Keep the auto combos in, but only have them come out on whiff or on block. So suddenly mashing the button in every situation is not the answer, because on whiff you will just repeat the same move over and over again, just like BB tag. I've used this example before, but in BB tag, if you whiff a button, you just get the first light attack over and over. But if you hit your opponent or they block, then the auto combo happens. To me, this is a much better solution. It will educate players on when to press the attack button instead of just do it whenever. It's fine, it will work itself out. And again, with better netcode, this wouldn't be as infuriating, but the way it is right now, I'd like to see this change. And I think offline play would only benefit from this as well. I would also like to see several changes to the super dash. The first one is the tracking. Super dashes shouldn't be doing complete 180-degree turns to catch an opponent. If that's about to happen, just make the super dash whiff. It's already a very powerful tool. It doesn't need these witchcraft moments polluting the game with randomness. I would also like to see 2 super dashes clashing a lot more often. The window for 2 super dashes to clash is kind of small. If one of the players is too late in super dashing, then the player who super dashed first will win, even though the second player was already in a complete super dash animation. I'm not saying super dashes should clash frame 1, that would bring a whole bunch of issues, but when both players super dash, I'd like to see them clash a lot more often than one of them randomly winning for pressing the button a couple of frames sooner. Still kind of on the topic of super dashes, I'd like to see the head invulnerability of down heavy moves kick in way sooner. This wouldn't just affect super dashes, it would affect several other moves as well, and this one is definitely a change that mainly needs to happen because of netcode. Too often have we pressed the correct button too late, and there are very few things that are more frustrating in a fighting game than pressing your anti-air button and getting hit by an aerial move. With better netcode, maybe this wouldn't feel as bad. In fact, back when I was playing in offline tournaments, I didn't feel like down heavy was a problem at all. But online, I always feel discouraged of trying it because I've been too late too many times. And down heavy can actually be a frame 4 head invulnerable move, yet somehow it feels too slow most of the time. So maybe frame 1 is the answer here, or maybe that would break a lot of stuff. I actually don't know. I feel like invulnerability does need to kick sooner. How fast it should kick in, maybe that needs a little bit of testing, but ArcSys definitely has the resources and the team to figure that one out. And that will conclude the list of gameplay systems that I would like to see changed or added to Dragon Ball FighterZ, but we're not done here. I think there are a couple of other features that I'd like to see in this patch. For instance, we're due for a new stage at this point. They got rid of that empty space that they had on the stage select screen, so maybe they had a stage planned and then scrapped it, and we saw no new stages during season 3, but maybe they open up that stage slot once again. There are no characters to work on because there's no season 4, so maybe they can put some time in to create a new stage. Hopefully something that will lag your game as little as the Cell Games Arena. Something like the hyperbolic time chamber. It probably doesn't need a ton of particles and things being processed in the background that would increase lag during a match. So if I had to vote for one, I would vote hyperbolic time chamber, but give me any stage. I'll be happy regardless. And the final feature I'd like to see is one that I've been asking for ages, and that's combo sharing. The Dragon Ball FighterZ combo challenges are really lacking, and this is something that could be fixed by facilitating the tools to the community to create and share combos. Something that apparently Guilty Gear is planning on doing in the future. And Guilty Gear definitely needs it. The combo challenges they have aren't really the best, and it may be a little bit too late for Dragon Ball FighterZ to do it. Maybe we won't have as many players out there looking to learn new combos or optimizing their routes, but if anything, they could roll out this feature, test it out in FighterZ, and get ready to launch it alongside a sequel. Now, one of the reasons why I think they chose to do combo challenges this way in FighterZ is because this is a 3-on-3 game. A lot of combos, a lot of the most damaging and optimal stuff is going to use assists, and the game cannot guess which assists you're going to play. But with the community creating these combos, you would soon cover all team combinations out there. You could add some filters looking only for combo challenges that feature your team, so you just select your 3 characters and a list of combos with those 3 characters shows up. You can add some tags like BNB, Touch of Death, Optimal Punish, along with details like does this combo use Sparking Blast, how many bars does it spend, and then you just leave it in players' hands. You'd have a community creating combos and sharing it with everyone, so everyone's level improves. Without a player having to leave the game to go search for a combo video on YouTube or a Twitter clip, and they would have immediate feedback on what they're doing wrong wrong, what move they missed, much like a normal combo challenge. And if you want to expand on this concept, you could share block strings or defensive situations. Like imagine sharing a recording and saying, hey, block this. A sharing system such as this is something that I'm surprised isn't in a lot of fighting games out there. It really feels like a mainstream feature that should be present on every fighting game ever. When we pick up a new character or a new team, we always have to search for tech. We always look up how to play our characters, so why not have that information in the game itself? And if you have any doubts that a feature like this would be awesome, look no further than Rocket League. Players have been creating and sharing training packs since forever, and it's one of the easiest ways to practice and improve at the game. I maybe get a little bit too excited talking about combo sharing because I know I would spend a lot of time either making and sharing combos or just playing other people's creations. And I honestly can't wait to see how they do it in Guilty Gear Strive, but I would argue fighters could benefit from that even more, since the team that you play, your 3 characters, is always something that's more unique than the character you pick in a 1v1 game. It's simple math. There are just a lot more combinations, and it's much harder to find tech for a specific team than it is to find for a single character in a 1v1 fighting game. And that's what I would like to see in this new Dragon Ball FighterZ patch, and if you have any ideas or requests of your own, I would love to read them in the comments down below. And if you haven't followed me on Twitch yet, make sure to do so to get notified of when I go live. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku, and I'll see you next time. Bye.